Welcome to the Transfer Exchange Show. We are live. It has been a crazy weekend of results. Well, not for Liverpool, but for everyone else. Man United losing. That's quite standard at the moment. Arsenal dropping points again. No, it's actually pretty normal. Liverpool winning, everyone else dropping points. That seems to be the name of the game at the moment. I'm joined by Steve, Kay, and Garth Lewis. How's everyone doing?
Very good, thank you, mate. Good evening, everybody.
Sounding high spirits, Steve. You got heard something that we haven't? Huh? No, something we don't know. Huh?
Definitely not a Man United fan being that chipper.
You know me, mate. I got this new way of thinking at things, mate. You know, it's just
always look on the bright side of life, eh?
Always look on the bright side of life. Yep. Yeah,
right,
that's the way you got to do it.
I don't subscribe to that philosophy. I'm not even a glass half empty man. I'm like, who took my half of milk? Who let it drink out of my glass? It's disgusting.
well, this is going to be a therapy session today because saw Arsenal with a 2-0 lead against Aston Villa, dropping points and end up drawing 2-2, and Manchester United with a 3-1 loss on the weekend to Brighton. Not good at all. And Liverpool, it was looking like the hate watch was going to be a good hate watch, an enjoyable hate watch. But then Darwin Núñez out of nowhere bags 2 goals in the space of about 3 minutes and shuts that down completely. And
of all the people, Darwin Núñez.
Of all the people. But let's get to it. Garth, first of all, we'll get this one out of the way.
No, this is the main point of the show, isn't it? I mean,
is it?
It's
the headline? Nah, do you know what? To be fair, Arsenal go to. I guess for the. Yeah, I think Arsenal's needs to be discussed in depth. To be fair, Garth, but a 3-1 loss to Brighton, and just not a good game for Man United at all. What's your thoughts on it before we get into the Amorim discussion?
To be fair, I mean, Brighton, they've beaten us quite a lot recently. Steve touched on it last week. It's not an easy game, Brighton. I was expecting more from my team, though. That was an abject performance, a disappointing performance. There's players there that are clearly not fit for purpose in this formation. And my biggest gripe is this formation at the moment. I'm not saying that the formation can't work in the Premier League, even though I have my doubts on it. It can't work with the personnel he's got there. We don't have the wing backs. We don't have the centre midfielders for it. He's got to shape up pretty quickly because that's 2 wins in 10 games, 6 defeats in the last 9 in the Premier League. It is unacceptable form. So he really needs to sort it out. I mean, what are these stats? I'm surprised that we have 51% possession, to be quite honest with you. But it's the chance creation. This is the problem with the formation we've got at the moment. Is when we're transitioning the phases of play, whichever word you want to use right now, when we move from defence to attack, our wing backs are too deep and they're not supporting on the flanks. So we've got nothing up top. We've got one striker up there on his own doing nothing. When we get hit on the break, our wing backs are now too far up the pitch and they're not quick enough to get back into the 5-man back line and defend properly. So now you're stretching the defence. Our defenders aren't good enough to play as wide centre backs at all. That's why Euro isn't. He's a centre back. He isn't designed, from what I've seen of him, to be facing a man 1-on-1 like that on the flank, and like you know what I mean, like a fullback is meant to do. At speed, he got ripped up. What was that? Southampton. Brighton fella's name?
Calamanda.
Nikita, the one that was at Newcastle.
So I'm getting 2 games mixed up here. So the Southampton game.
Sorry. Yeah.
But also the Brighton game, he's not designed for that. So listen,
Mintu,
he ain't got the
Mintu.
He's a good player, but we just don't have the personnel. So we're in we've got a long hard road over us. It's going to be a real struggle. We've got no money to spend in the market in the window, and we've got a squad not fit for purpose. Before we even get onto the performance, which was absolutely diabolical. Our passing's all over the gaff. The players don't look fit enough. Our strikers aren't striking. Rasmus Højlund can't hold the ball up, and we ain't got wingers to cross the ball into him. Zertsky can hold the ball up, but I swear I'd beat him in a 100-meter dash. And I've got 2 gammy knees. I've got 2 bad knees, mate. You know what I mean? So yeah, everyone looks down on confidence. You can tell the frustration's boiling over, and yeah, there's not much to. This is a bit like I said last week. It's not much to analyse because Man United have got nothing at the moment. So the only analysis I can give you is we are trash. We are absolutely dog. So yeah, that's I don't think the formation's working. I really don't, man. I think he needs. I actually think he needs to revert to a back four. I know it's not his style, and I know he isn't going to, but if he doesn't, I think we could be like in real. We're not getting relegated because there's teams below us that are much worse than we are. But to be talking, this must have been what it was like for you boys when like the banter was going about that you might have been relegated. To even be discussing that Man United could get relegated is unacceptable. So yeah, a lot of work to be done.
100%. We were there, and it never felt at the time that we were even in that conversation with a relegation fight. But until you're away from it, until you've got that magic 40 points, people will keep on prodding you with that stick. Steve, did you catch the game against Brighton? What was your say?
Yeah, I caught a fair bit of it. It was a family day, so you can imagine, pretty hectic going on. Things are going on. So, but yeah, I caught I caught most of it, and yeah, it was a tough watch, weren't it? I mean, for a Man United fan, if you're a Man United fan, yeah, I mean, I think I'd put in the group. I think the wording was I can't actually believe this is Manchester United I'm watching. It's like, do you know what I mean? I'm not. I mean, has there ever been like a top six side this bad, Garth? Honest, like without.
Spurs below us.
Yeah, we don't care. We don't care. That's a conversation that I want to have on the show one time. Tottenham being put in this top six bracket because that is why they are. I have no idea.
I'm with you. To answer your question, Steve, I can't remember a so-called top six side being this abjectly this poor. I can't. So
I want to keep finding improvements. It's like, if you probably noticed in the last few weeks of the show, I'm trying to find little things, but I'm struggling to sort of give them.
There was nothing there at the weekend.
Just give them any credit at all, and it's funny. We know Amorim's. I feel he's the right man. We've said he's the right man, but. I mean, I agree with Garth. I just don't. If he's got anything about him, Amorim, he's got to change. He cut these players. Garth's already said it. These players cannot play in that system. It's absolutely. It hits you so much in the face that they can't. Got a lot of young players. It's a system that's takes a lot of getting used to. Do you know what I mean? Even if you're like a full-blown professional who's been playing the game for 5-10 years, let alone getting Euro to do it and Mainu's to do it and Toby Colliers and Rasmus Højlund to do it, and a number of others who are really young in the Manchester United side. And if there's anything about him, he's got, and I think he's got to change that system because, yeah, I mean, the horrible, probably the damning thing about the result the weekend is probably that it's not surprising anymore. If Man United was ever to get beat 3-1 by Brighton or a similar side, it would create the headlines because wow, how did they beat this is Man United? But it's getting to a point now where it's like it's not a thing. I mean, you can answer this better than I could, Garth. I mean, where would you put this squad? In sort of, when you look at the other teams in the league. I mean, would you say I was watching it. I'm thinking that Brighton have got better players than these, and have Bournemouth, and do you know what I mean? Have
this is the
Fulham,
problem.
And you're like, hold on a minute, let's weigh them up man for man. Do you know what I mean? There's not a lot in it. And that's, I think, what's the most damning. That's what I think the most damning thing is. But we all know it needs changing.
Yeah. Yeah, on paper, Steve, if you actually did man for man on paper, you'd probably take a lot of these Man United players. Like, if you hadn't watched what you saw at the weekend, if you go man for man with the Brighton squad, you're going to be like, well, we've got a Uruguayan international play. You know what I mean? I'll take him over Believer. You know, like I just would. You know, because you know, I mean, you look at Garnacho, Argentinian international. Like you'd take him over a Mitoma. You know what I mean? You look at even Zertsky and Hoyland. Like you think Danny Welbeck 34, 30, like I'll take them. Yeah. But that's about watching them playing, and that's the problem with Man United got at the moment. Like these players should not be performing at this level. Even in this formation, there should be more coming from them, and they are just not. They're not doing it, and they're not earning their paychecks at the moment, and it's despicable, to be quite honest with you, because they are definitely better than what they should be anyway. Like, you know what I mean? Like, but they're just not performing, mate. And it's shocking.
I mean, they're not. There's no relegation, but do you know what I mean? The next game's against Fulham. I mean, do you know what I mean? Fulham away. I mean, if they play like that, they're losing it. And then like, you know, you don't want to lose a couple more. Do you know what I mean? Especially if one of those teams starts, they won't go down. Of course, they won't. They have got the quality, and they've got Ahmed, and they've got Fernandez, and you know they're better than at least quite a few teams there down below. But you know, the fact we're even talking like this is just it's Manchester United. Do you know what I mean? It's Manchester United we're talking about here. It's crazy. It really is. It's mad. It's madness that we're having to talk like this.
Amorim said we are the worst team maybe in history of Manchester United. I know you want headlines, but I'm saying that because you have to acknowledge that and change that. Here you go. There's your headline. Do you think it's frustration already since he's been there? He's expecting more from the players. What's your thoughts?
Of course. I can imagine. Like I just said about when you look at these players, man for man, Amorim, when he got off the job, probably like, do you know what? Ten Hag weren't getting the best out of these boys. I can come in and get something out of these players, definitely. And he's turned up and it's exactly the same. In fact, worse. You know what I mean?
It's worse, isn't it? Yeah.
He's already going bald, I swear. He come with that lovely, thick Portuguese hair. He's already going bald. He's going bald, but you can see it. The edges are going, bro. Like, you know, like, because it must be awful. Because he does, I bet all week he does it. And he's like, do you know what, I've got it set up. And then Onana decides to just.
My
I swear, Onana's got his head of a betting ring or something, because, like, it's just crazy with some of the mistakes he makes. But yeah, like, individual errors are costing us every week. Our players aren't good enough. But is it the worst? I mean, it's the worst Man United team I've seen. Obviously, I weren't around for when they got relegated last time. Yeah, I've heard horror stories about that. Yeah, I've heard horror stories about the 80s teams, you know what I mean? Like with the Ron Atkinson before Sir Alex came in. So I went around for him. So I don't know. For me, the performance, let me rephrase again. This probably isn't worse man for man than some of the Fergie teams when we had John O'Shea and Wes Brown playing centre midfield for us. You know what I mean? Park G on the left and like a 40-year-old Giggs on the or vice versa. But the performances are the worst performances I've ever seen from a Man United team in the last 18 months. Like, we have an occasional good performance here and there. Like I was trying to say last week, Steve, a dogged performance.
Yeah.
There's no class to it.
There is no class. There's no silk. There's no finesse. And that's what I mean. Like basic stuff seems to be going wrong. So I mean, we'll get into Onana, but like just even passes 5 yards short. Was this what it was like when Arsenal were here, Steve? Like, what it was like?
I don't remember Arsenal. It's like Kieran said. I can remember Arsenal. I mean, Kieran.
I saw a video the other day.
Kieran. I mean, in what sense? What do you mean? I mean, when Kieran.
Like, the basics aren't happening. The basics aren't working. So, like, the man's not where he's meant to be. You're not creating space. Your passes are 5 yards short or 10 yards too long. Like, goalkeepers are making individual errors. Like, because that's what it's like at the moment.
What I would say is, one, I've seen a video recently, and I'll try and find it and put it up next week, which basically says, was the 2019 Arsenal team an experiment? Like, that's how bad. We had players tripping over the ball, like players trying to take a touch and it just going off the pitch. Like, their heads were gone.
But we finished fifth, didn't we? Did we end up finishing fifth that season?
No.
Well, Emery's last
2 seasons eighth.
Oh, you're talking about you're talking about Arteta.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Arteta. The last season of Emery and the first season of Arteta.
Yeah.
It was horrible, and it's similar to what you're going through now, except for our formation. I think we went to three at the back a fair few times,
but we had Saka playing.
I think it was more to shore us up. because when you look at the defense we had, we was trying to rely on David Luiz, who was probably our best defender at the time, Mustafi, Socrates, Holding. We were looking at players like Callum Chambers and going, do you know what? There's still a player in there, actually. Do you know what?
We had Saka at wing back.
We had Saka at wing back. Like, but yeah, it was bad. It was bad. And
Cedric
we
Suarez.
go through games. Yeah, Cedric. Like I looked at Cedric back then.
I like Cedric.
He puts Cedric on his shift. He's got pace.
I'll take Cedric Suarez, 2019 Cedric Suarez right now. Now.
And it was bad. It was bad.
Yeah.
But what we saw then was also frustrating because it was like, why is Arteta not getting more out of these players for more than 10 minutes, for more than 20 minutes? And then it was half hour. And it was like, it's fitness levels. They're not on the fitness levels he needs to get what he wants out of them for the full 90 minutes. And it was just trying to bide your time and trying to get through games. And it was, if we could win in the first 20 minutes and hold out for the rest, which with Mustafi and the rest of them around that pitch, it weren't very likely, then we could get a win here. But you weren't getting consistency across the board until those players were out. And that's why across 2 windows, we just released loads of players.
Yeah.
Whether it was bad eggs in the dressing room, poor players on the pitch, you're not getting rid of them. And then you look at where they are now. 2 of them have retired. 1 of them's close to retirement. Mustafi's 32 and he's retired. Like, there's players that should be playing football now and they've retired. They're just not good enough. And it just showed how much that Arsenal at that time we were overpaying players that weren't at the level to be at our club.
I've just had a thought. I mean, it's like at that time, I mean, it seemed to me one of the main things problem with Arsenal was like mentality, right? It was just a personal thing, because I can remember sometimes we looked great and then the next minute we looked rubbish, and it was a very frustrating story like that. Manchester United, not totally similar, but again, we've seen Manchester United against, like, they seem to put up a fight against the Arsenals, the Liverpools, the Man Cities, and then when they play against the lesser teams, they tend to sort of like, not play so well and lose against them, which is a crazy thing, which tells me something. There's a little bit about mentality. I mean, you go back to those times you were just talking about with Arsenal. I mean, could it be the fact that when like Arteta come in at the beginning and we finished 8th and 8th and there was all this, talk of, all this friction and toxicity. I mean, could it be the fact that, going back to Manchester United now, and could it be a fact that these players know that they're not going to be there in the next couple of seasons? And the fact that probably half that team won't be playing for Manchester United.
It's not bad, Shat.
And it's because that seems to be the same. You go back to the Arsenal bit with the Arteta first come in, and it was you had that thing where they come in and they probably thought the same thing and thought, well, we're not going to be. Arteta's just come in; he's going to actually rip this squad to pieces. Do you know what I mean? I suppose they're human beings, and it must like play on your mind, each week in and week out. I don't know.
I think players under Arteta knew very quickly whether their cards were marked. Players like Mendoza and that mob, like there was a crew within that Arsenal team which sort of kind of tried to rule the roost and were probably the undoing of Emery in the end, because when it was going good, they were good, but when it was going bad, it was like player power, and it was like that's not really something we ever saw at Arsenal. That sort of Chelsea players run the show, and do you know what I mean? It was kind of a bit more harmonious. You respect the manager, whereas under this lot, it weren't going that way with Emery, which is why it had to change. And when Arteta came in, he saw that straight away. I used to see it with videos. It's different at Man United. I don't know the behind the scenes, but I used to see a lot of videos of Aubameyang like filming people around the dressing room just laughing and joking. And I was like, there's something a bit off about this. It don't seem like they're laughing and joking. It seems like you're laughing at their expense and you're like, everything's a joke. Everything's a laugh. And even players like Saka comes up in a suit. And I know it's banter, but but Aubameyang was like, "Oh, look at him in the suit." Oh, and then Lacazette would laugh, and then Mustafi would laugh, and Saka was almost like awkward, going, "Oh, yeah." And that's the mentality that was around the dressing room, and I did not like it. So it was good to see him start to slowly move them out. And funny enough, all the people he moved out quickly were the people in that crew: Socrates, Ozil, Mustafi, Guendouzi, they all went. So once you get rid of them, and you, like you said, he shakes the tree and see what falls out. So maybe that's what Amorim's going to do. But I think you were saying you're a bit worried about him being here to shake that tree or sweep up the things that need to go in the bin.
I mean, he's on two and a half year contract. No, I say this isn't a dig. He ain't getting 5 years of progression. He ain't. This man, it just isn't happening. And whether for good or for bad, it's going to be. If we end up, let's just say, looking like we're going to be bottom 10 this season. If next season we're only in 8th, he ain't surviving. He just ain't surviving. What I will say is, in the immediate future. Listen, we're bad at the moment, but as I say last week, it's still a reasonable run of games until we play you boys at Old Trafford on the 8th of March. You look at it, it's Rangers at home, tough game, obviously, Battle of Britain, you know what I mean, always going to be hard, but I still would, if we're performing even to a mediocre level, I'm expecting a result there, draw or win, but it's the performance, obviously. Then it's Fulham away, again, I agree with you, it's not easy. It shouldn't be that hard, though, to get a point there, but the way we're playing, it will be. But again, then Steaua Bucharest away should be a win. Palace at home, Leicester at home, Spurs away, they're in dire straits. Everton away, I mean, we always beat Everton. Touchwood, that would be the same. Ipswich at home before we play. So he's got a nice run of games where I'd expect to see, if we were playing to a half-decent level, points come from them games. But listen, the bottom line is we lose all those games. If it's the same performance as Sunday, if it's the same performance as the Newcastle game, if it's the same performance as the Bournemouth game, they're all defeats. And he's in real trouble. Real trouble. Like,
even if you play like this in the Southampton game, mate, because, like, you know, you got away with one there, didn't you? Really, you must. Like...
That's what I said. Yeah, that's what I said. 100%. I still think we got away with it in the Arsenal game. I still think we got away with it in the Liverpool game. Both of them games, if either of you boys could finish, we would have lost them. We would have lost them.
What's more important right now, though, for you, getting the results or seeing the performance?
I think it's performance, because with the performance, the results will come against these teams. The squad's good enough.
Yeah, it's a good answer.
So it's both. Like, you know what I mean? It's both. Like because we need the points as well. Like
that's what I was going to say. Like sometimes it's just about getting the points, and if he's going to change the formation to something that's not his, then it's getting the points. Getting the points to get people off the back.
Oh, he won't change formation.
Yeah,
he isn't going to, mate. Like he's already clearly he's quite a headstrong man. It's what we need. You know, what I mean, that's what a manager needs to be. But he ain't changing that formation. I just think that he's been a bit too headstrong with that, because if you look at that team, I mean, just say Dallo goes down, and now you're talking about having Hamid Diallo at right back and having Mazraoui at left wing back, and then like what we doing here, mate? Like, nah. The team we paid for was built to play the 4-3-2-1. Sorry. Is that right? No. The 4-2-3-1. Sorry, the 4-2-3-1. That's the players we've got. That squad's built for that formation. Yeah. He doesn't have his personnel. So yeah, listen, performance is probably more important, because with the performances, the results come. But I just don't know where it's coming from. Like, we've all played football. You know what it's like when you're like this. You know what I mean? Like you just can't turn it around on your own. Like someone needs to. This is when you need. Like, and I don't think Roy Keane's as good as everyone else says he is, but as a leader, that's what you need in the dressing room right now. You need like that mentality, like who's like just going to drag them up by their bootstraps. Like we've got rid of quite a few of the Jesse Lingards, who was a bit like what you're talking about with the videos and the dancing, the Pogbas, you know what I mean? Like, but we're clearly still got something. Rashford, his head ain't right, like he ain't performing at all. And Onana, I mean, can we just quickly talk about goalkeeper care? Your assessment. I mean, what can explain to me how that happens as a goalkeeper, please, mate?
He's taking his after the ball. It's clear as day. He's taking his after the ball. He thought he had it. It's one of those. He's going to be absolutely kicking himself, but he does it too often. He does it too often. I do not like his style of goalkeeping. No. It's eccentric, and the results that you get from like what you're bringing him in for, which is his footwork, which is his press resistance. Like what for all he does that, what are you actually getting out of it? How many goals do you think are created from his passing out the back? Like, I can't say. I can't say what benefit it is having. You even having a goalkeeper that's playing it out the back. Like, because Man United haven't been that style. Man United have never been that style. They've had David De Gea, weren't a passer. Before that, you had who did you have in there before that? Whether it was Tim Howard or whether it was Carroll or whether it was Van der Sar, they weren't.
None of them are passers. No.
But they weren't passers. They like, it's not it for me. If Man United,
the last one we had was Bartes, and he was a joker himself. You know what I mean?
Massimo Taibbi probably won as well. Like, it didn't work. And for me, Man United, they buy big goalkeepers: Oblak, Martinez. Those are the sort of goalkeepers that Man United buy: big, good shot stoppers, commanding of area, loud, brash, like leaders. Like, that's what they buy. And right now, they've got someone. For me, is a bit of a party trick. Like, I'm not. You said before you bought him. I don't see it. He makes a lot of mistakes.
Nah.
I got a mate who said he watches Onana, has watched him since he was Ajax. He makes so many mistakes, and he will make more mistakes than what's actually good. Like,
and what he saves,
come to fruition. It's exactly happened.
There was a 10-arg signing, wasn't it? I think.
Well, listen, we can't keep blaming. I like to blame 10-arg for everything, but like, it's 10-arg, it's the Glazers, it's the scouts. You know what I mean? Like, whoever's sanctioning these deals, whoever sanctioned the Anthony deal for 80 mil, shouldn't work in football ever again. Period. There should be a ban, lifetime ban, like he's a drugs cheat, because he was obviously high on something when he paid 80 mil.
Well, funny enough,
I think that was Murtough.
He said he's a 20 mil player. 20 mil under Solskjaer, I think they said. And he was like, no, don't want him. Solskjaer didn't want him.
With Onana, just with Onana quickly again, does confidence matter a lot for a goalkeeper? Like, is he should he be taking out the firing line for a little bit?
I would have thought so.
No.
You got to play through it. You got to play him through it.
You got to play through it. You got to play through it. Once you take a keeper out of the firing line, they're pretty much done. Once you take a keeper out, it's pretty much done. Like, you got to understand the keeper's mentality. They are there on their own, so they build up their whatever. They in their head, they're their own main character. And as soon as that gets tampered with, as soon as that gets questioned, and they start questioning themselves, because it's always going to get questioned as a goalkeeper. Everyone makes mistakes, but when a goalkeeper makes mistakes, it leads to a goal, so you're going to get questioned. But as soon as you start questioning yourself, it's curtains.
I think he's done, mate. I think he's done. I don't think he can. I don't think they're going to go forward. If he's going to be like, I mean, since he's come to the club, he's been like constant, throwing wobblers, isn't he? Since he's come there. And when, again, I've used this sort of like analogy, quite a few times. But when you're in transition, and you bring in young players into the squad, you don't need a goalkeeper who you don't trust. And I don't think any of the.
Did you see Maguire? Sorry to cut you off there. Did you see Maguire at the weekend?
No.
He clearly doesn't trust Onana. So a ball's coming in at the near post, the little crossing, and everyone heard Onana shout. I heard it through the TV. Harry Maguire kicked it straight out for a throw-in. And he just turned around and went, sorry, mate, didn't hear you. You definitely heard him.
That's a problem. Heard him. Can't be having that. And you can't be having that. As a goalkeeper, that's where Onana needs to then roast Harry Maguire. Because I would do. It would be a few words. And it wouldn't be like we're going to have a row, but you tell them, you are commanding of your area. If you call for it and they don't, and they kick it out, and then you give them away possession, that's a problem. Because then your goalkeeper and your defence are their own team. Yeah, that's first and foremost. They are their own team as well as another team within the team. And the goalkeeper is like essentially a team on his own. Like, he's got 3 different teams, and it's a tough job. But I don't think Onana's confidence is down. I just don't think he's good enough. No, I think you'll get that whether he's at top confidence or low in confidence. It don't matter. He's just not good enough, and he's going to keep doing that.
Yeah, you need a good Premier League goalkeeper. And a good. I mean, I'm trying to think of one, but there's got to be decent. There's got to be better goalkeepers out there than him who can make United.
There is. Absolutely.
I mean, one's just.
I'd take the Leeds fella now. He ain't that good.
Oh, mate, he's another one though.
No, it was a joke because this is where I'm at with Onana. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Funny enough, though, Arsenal were like knocking around him as well.
Oh, mate, I'd be scared. I would not want it. He's
Jordan Pickford. Do you know what I mean?
I like Pickford.
He ain't everybody's cup of tea. But how many times have we put him in the team of the season or last season when he didn't even put him in?
I was about to say 5. There's 5. Jordan Pickford, Emi Martinez would be perfect.
Yeah, Martinez would be the one.
Yeah.
Sells is having a great season. Absolutely
excellent. Yeah. But again, I think with him, that's where you've got to be careful with those certain goalkeepers. Certain goalkeepers need to be peppered all the time because their lack of concentration. Yeah.
That's why Tim Howard looks magnificent at Everton. And at Man United, he looks bang average, Tim Howard. Because at Everton, you think when he was at Everton, you thought he was one of the best goalkeepers in the world, and he probably was. But I know exactly what I mean. But then listen, they've got no money. But Oblak was always the one that I wanted, obviously. And but Emi Martinez, I mean, Pickford. I mean, you've got to be talking. Is he out of contract, Steve? Do you know, or something? Or is he? I mean, because if not,
I think he's signed not long ago. I mean, last year signed a new one. But look,
so that'll be 40 mil, 45 mil for him. You know what I mean? Man United ain't got that money at the moment.
He's probably not your he's probably not your main sort of like problem. Do you know what I mean? But he's definitely up there now. Do you know what I mean?
He single-handedly got knocked out of the Champions League last year. Single-handedly with his mistakes against Galatasaray, with his mistakes against Copenhagen. Like when we're winning. And all of a sudden, your goalkeeper's pulled out a howler, and everyone's confidence is shot because you can't hold on to a lead anymore. So,
the reason why I disagree is because
everyone wants a goalkeeper who plays out from the back, don't they? And that's another thing. But there's
levels to it. But Atletico Madrid haven't got a goalkeeper that plays out the back, and then you'll have Barcelona who've got Ter Stegen or whoever they're having who can play out the back, but they're not a Neuer. They're not an Alisson or an Edison. There are players that can play at the back. It just doesn't have to be their main thing. It doesn't have to be their main focus.
See, Man City are going for Costa. Do you know what I mean? I'm surprised Amorim wouldn't be looking at him.
There we go. There's another one I said to you a couple of weeks ago, Garth, Costa.
Because he's
isn't it? Diego Costa and Onana. That's what it came down to. We chose Onana because obviously the Ajax connection. It was infuriating at the time. He's
only 25 as well for the future.
Yeah, I think when me and Nate were doing the Man United show, and he was like, "Oh, yeah, but Onana, you see him against Man City?" I'm like, "It's one game, mate." Like, I haven't watched Onana, but my mate who lives in Amsterdam and is an Ajax fan goes he has literally messaged me unsolicited to take the piss out of me that we're going to sign Onana because he's like, mate, you ain't bro, he is no good, mate. Basically what your friend said, kid. You know what I mean? There's one out there. What's the one at Lille is meant to be all right. I don't know anything about him. Chevalier, he's meant to be decent.
It's a French goalkeeper, isn't he? Is he the French goalkeeper?
Yeah. He's very young though. Again, but listen, we had good success with De Gea when we brought in a very young goalkeeper. You know what I mean? So.
How much better does he look than Onana now? When you look back,
what Diego Costa? Oh, De Gea, yeah, but they wanted the ball playing. Let's not get it twisted. De Gea pulled out fantastic saves, but he made errors towards the end. His confidence was shot.
They got bad.
His confidence was shot though. But from it took him a while at the beginning.
The middle period was one of the best goalkeepers in the world, Steve. 100%.
100%. Mate, he was. In my opinion, that middle period. If someone said De Gea is the best goalkeeper in the world, you'd go, okay.
You couldn't argue with it. You know what I mean? Yeah. No, 100%. I agree with you. And again, this was Man United all over. They just dumped him. The way we've been acting recently is well out of pocket with things like that. But yeah, listen. I mean, I might even tempt the fella at Real Madrid, see if they were willing to let Lunin go. I think Man United got this. Is what I said last week. Man United got to start shopping in markets that are not Diego Costa, because Diego Costa's 55 mil. 40 to 55 mil. I heard people talking about Mike Manning again, 40 mil, 45 mil.
He'll have a release clause, Costa. He'll have a release clause. So I don't know what I'm not too sure.
I agree with Gosh. Start taking players.
48 mil a couple of years ago, so I presume it's more now than 48 mil because he signed another contract. So, sorry, Keir, you're saying?
Yeah, I agree with Gosh. Start taking players from clubs where they might have made that move, but it's not worked out for them. Like, for example, but Rainier Jr., Arda Güler, maybe not now, but maybe next season. Like, as you said there, Lumen from like the Russian goalkeeper, isn't he?
Ukrainian, I think, you know.
Ukrainian. So players like we speaking about the other week, Zinchenko. Like, you need players that are essentially going to get you back into the top 4 regularly. Start getting that money, and then you start upgrading them. Right now, and I'm sure a lot of people online, especially Man United fans, will be talking, as you said there, Mike Manigan, what so and so, get so and so. But then you're now competing with teams that are in
who's the Napoli goalkeeper? He's only just signed a new contract.
I don't like him. He was the one at Villarreal.
What, Merritt? Is it Alex Merritt?
Alex Merritt,
Merritt.
Was he at Villarreal, that one?
I don't know, mate. I know he's just signed a new contract. They was like trying to get him to sign a new one, but he was on the borders of like, shall I go or shall I sign? Eventually signed. So,
but even like, I don't know if he's still around right now, but even just like, I mean, to be fair, he's actually a bit of an eccentric one himself, but maybe you go for a 35-year-old goalkeeper for a couple of years, like a Keylor Navas, like that ilk, you know, he isn't the man I'm talking about, but I can't think of another one off the top of my head. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you go and get...
Was it West Ham?
I can't remember now. Well, it was West Ham, wasn't it? But you know what I mean? Like a Bernd Leno. Is it still like, you know what I mean? Like, you go and bring one in for a year, 2 years, just to see you through, because we ain't got the money to spend. That's the other problem. Like, and if we go and spend, say it is 50 mil for a Diego Costa, we need wing backs, we need a centre back, we need a midfielder, we need this, we need that. You know, we're having to do a Chelsea. We're clearly having to sell, and you'll probably get into this more later on, Steve, having to sell Garnacho and Rashford to make money up so that we've got money to spend. So, anyway. We're a shambles of a team. We've got about 9 positions we need to fill. Can we move on to our bad Arsenal?
We're going to go to Arsenal now. But I think what you should do is you should look at some of the expiring contracts while we were discussing the failure that is our club, Arsenal, and see who you could potentially bring in. Steve, I was a bit over the top in failure, but however, it's frustrating. 2-0 up against Aston Villa, and I know people will point out to bringing a striker, need a striker, but that game weren't about bringing in a striker.
No, it wasn't.
That game was about man management. It was about leadership, and we lacked both on the day. You always knew that Aston Villa were going to come out in that second half and go for it. You knew that they had potentially had a chance to bring on Duran. They still had Watkins and Tielemans has been a thorn in Arsenal's side since 2015. And every time we play him, he's a problem. We didn't sort out. We didn't see out the game. And now, like you said, it's a team who had an opportunity to keep in touch with Liverpool, and they're just not playing by the rules of this thing that we're calling a title race.
Well, this is what I said. That's what I said, mate. It's what I've said for a long while now. Do you know what I mean? We ain't playing bad. You know, we're not. It's not a disaster season by any means. But you know, I can't get into this conversation where we're in a title race. I just don't feel it. I don't feel it, and I thought you said, I didn't think we was that bad.
No, we weren't.
I thought. I know you said like about leaders. I said. I think you asked me. I don't know if it was on the Arsenal show last week or was it if it was on this show last week. I think you asked me about players stepping up. In the Tottenham game and the Villa game, and I said like players like Rice has got to step up. Players like Odegaard step up. Players like Martin, and they all did. Yeah. For me. I thought they all played well. I thought Odegaard was good against Villa. I thought Rice was good against Villa. I thought Mourinho was decent.
We'll talk about him in a sec because he's getting a lot of stick recently.
But it was. Look, I think you called it, mate. I think like it was down to the mistakes, and it was 2 stupid mistakes that normally where we switched off. Whether you're going to bring up the fact that maybe if Saliba was there, maybe something maybe different, maybe he would have dealt with it. I don't know, but the fact is he wasn't, and we've got good enough players who should be able to deal with, stopping those 2 goals. And I mean, one obviously from Mourinho, that was poor, and obviously and Thomas Partey was the other one. It's we can call them out. But again, those 2 never had bad games.
I thought Thomas, Steve,
I thought it was outstanding.
Excellent that first half.
But you don't get. I mean, obviously, I kind of avoid online sometimes. It's just what I have to do because of what I do during the day. But do you know what I mean? People were on at Party. I'll get him out. Where's Zubin? You get Mourinho out. He's rubbish. What does he do? I can't see what he does. But they were good. They were okay, yes. But they unfortunately they done 2 absolute nightmare errors, where they were basically just really positioned wrong, or just a little bit slow, or not as quick on to mark, and people the people finished them well. But as you say, it wasn't today. The other day wasn't about the goals. I thought Trossard again. We've slaughtered him recently, but again he was another one that had a good game.
That's why it's so frustrating because we saw a fair few players the other day have decent games. Martinelli, Trossard, Partey, I thought was very, very good. Like, it was all good. And that's why we took the 2-0 lead. That game at 2-0, Villa were done for.
They were done, mate.
Villa were done for.
But this is my question. This was about Artie, because I watched it until you scored, because I hate watching. Like, come on, Villa, you know what I mean? I watched until you scored the second goal, and I could not. When I literally, my missus will tell you, I looked at the end, like, turned on my phone, and I was like, "Oh, how has this happened? Like, what went wrong? What was it? Just 2 individual errors? Because I haven't even seen the goals.
2 individual errors. What I will say about Thomas Partey's one, I think you're seeing someone who's not a right back playing right back. And I worry about Lewis Skelly because that's going to happen next. I genuinely do.
He had no one who had a good game.
Yeah, but we're seeing what it is, yeah. What it is, yeah. We're seeing central midfielders play in the fullback position. So so what you are seeing when we are seeing things that are totally out of the totally different than what we see from normal fullbacks is where they tuck inside, they're getting through. And we saw some lovely balls from Miles Lewis-Skelly the other day. Like, I was like, unbelievable ball. And we should have scored from it. I think it was Trossard who had a chance to score. Lewis-Skelly's opened up this way, and he's done not a no look, but it was like he feinted to go that way, and he's passed it through the lines. It was beautiful. Lovely ball, yeah? But his position he takes up is always inside. Now, what you're not getting with Lewis Skelly down the flank, you're not getting the ball as much to Martinelli or from that left. The reason why it was slightly working more with Trossard because Trossard naturally tucks inside as well, but you're not getting anyone down the flank and you don't get any crosses from that left flank. So you're not getting a fullback position and you're getting a similar to Thomas Partey. Now, the mistake that Thomas Partey made is because he's not looked over his shoulder. It's as simple as that. He's not looked over his shoulder, and he's better than that. He should be, but Mercer said it himself. I need to see I need to go and speak to Thomas Partey because I need to ask him what he was thinking there because you wouldn't see Jamie Carragher do that. What's Jamie Carragher? He's
a central midfield player, though, isn't he? Mourinho,
central midfielder, and that is what you're seeing now. That's what you're seeing. You're seeing these little mistakes in times where you wouldn't normally see it. Like last season, we had Ben White for the whole season.
Ben White's sleeper there.
So luckily enough, we had Ben White fit for the whole season. Now, the Tomiyasu injury, or Tomiyasu injury that's been out throughout his Arsenal career, it's starting to be a bigger problem than it is now because there's no backup. And the backup to the backup is now Thomas Partey. And this is the problem we have. Yeah. What I'll ask you, Steve, is what's your thoughts on the fact that we had 4 defenders on the bench on the weekend and still started with Lewis Skelly? When 2 of those defenders are left backs, one of them's a centre back.
I thought the same thing, Steve. When I saw your starting lineup, I was like, "Oh, Zinchenko must be well annoyed, mate."
What was your thoughts on it?
I just thought that the reason why Lewis Skelly's come in, I think probably because off the back of the Tottenham game, mate. It's probably just as simple as that. You're probably one of the up there with, next to Gabriel, man of the match.
Mm-hmm.
So they've played him at left back against Villa, a few days later. It's and to be honest with you, it didn't bother me that he was there. And I didn't think he had a bad game.
No, he didn't have a bad game. I thought he had a pretty decent game. He didn't have a bad game at all.
Yeah,
didn't have a bad game at all.
I think a lot to do with, I think Zinchenko and Tierney. I mean, Tierney's in talks with Celtic. Zinchenko's in talks with Dortmund. So whether that's something that comes into it, and you don't want to play 90 minutes,
injured.
And you don't want him to get injured. Arsenal are in enough. Arsenal need the money as much as what they do. If one of them goes down with an hammy or twisted an ankle, with 2 weeks of the transfer window, and we lose, say, £35 million, and we can't bring someone in, to help us push, possibly for the title.
Let me ask you this though, Steve: is it wise Arsenal letting both Tierney and Zinchenko go in the same?
Do you know what?
At the moment? Go on, sorry.
Yeah, no, sorry, mate. Yeah. No.
Is it wise letting them both go?
I had the same thought. I've had the same thought, mate, in like today and the day before, because you look at Calafiori, he seems, hopefully not, but he seems to be someone who's struggling with fitness and struggling with injuries. He seems to come back, after being out for a few weeks, and then he comes back for a couple of games, and then he's out again.
They're rushing him. They did it with Timber. They brought him back. They've played him till the point where they can't play no more. What they did with Timber was near enough neglect. Yeah, because he came off a year out with an ACL injury, came back into the team and played the first 10, 15 games to the point where Arteta had to take him out to rest him. Now that is crazy.
I mean, we ain't had Ben White. We ain't had Ben White. Yeah. So we ain't had Ben White. I mean, I think he's just about come on the grass. So, I mean, people say, well, what's that got to do with right back? Well, it does. It's because our left back is playing as right back. He's filling in. When Ben White comes back, if you're Arteta, you're thinking to yourself, okay, Ben White's coming back. He's on the grass.
Let's go back to what we remember.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, we've seen players all this season, Arsenal players, come back from injury. A few weeks later, bosh, they're on the sideline because they may have pulled it and then they're out for another couple of weeks. So I have had the exact same thoughts, and I don't think they'll go. If they go, I mean, I've already given my reason why I think they wasn't playing, and obviously I think Arteta, it was something to do with his Lewis Skelly's performance against Tottenham, but it could be as well because, as I say, that we've already said those two are sort of in talks with other clubs. But I hope they don't, mate. I think
Lewis Skelly, you have got to respect it. If you had a great game against Spurs like you did, you have got to respect it. It was more what I was thinking. Can none of those three? It's going to sound weird. Can no one else apart from Partey play right back when you've got actual defenders on your bench and stuff?
See, I heard this the other day, and
no,
I don't know. I don't know how good they are.
Oh, yeah. See, I heard this the other day, and I had to look at the back bench again. I was like, for one of them, you're talking about Maldini. The kid's 18. Just stop. Let's not start talking about
Maldini. He's called Maldini, bruv. Come on now.
Great name. That's a great name. The other one was Zinchenko, left back. Nah, you ain't playing Zinchenko at right back. The other one is Imperial. You're not playing him at right back.
No.
But
this is the point now. What about Timber?
You can play
Timber at right back.
And that was my
fault. Centre back. Yeah, Kieran Tierney can play. You've got you.
On a good day, mate, you've got Ben White, you've got Timber, you've got Tommy Ashley. On a good day.
Yeah, but just that game in isolation.
Yeah, I know. Nobody, mate. Just Partey. Nobody, and that's hurting us because in that Aston Villa game, I don't know, if you both watched it, you both. I think you both did, kids. I know you did. Right, for me, one of the biggest problems.
Who's got the second goal, mate? Honestly, I was like, "No, watching this time. Arsenal winning again. Don't need to see this rubbish." It's like watching the traitors with the misses.
But although on the ball, I thought Rice was like a monster. He's getting back to something to the way he was last season, I think. Mm-hmm. So hopefully he'll carry on for the rest of the season. But Odegaard and Mourinho, as good as we were on the ball. when it broke down, I think Aston Villa found it very easy to cut through our midfield. And every time they was getting through, and it was the same thing against Spurs, right? Because we haven't spoke about the Spurs, but it was the same thing against Spurs. You know, going forward was fine, but Spurs were cutting through that midfield. Do you know what I mean? Very easily. Do you know what I mean? And I don't know what it is lately, because normally our midfield's like, you know, you're not getting through. So I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the fact that
Partey not being there.
I think so.
Everything you saw good of Partey the other day was him when he pushed into midfield. And that's what he does. That's what he does. He gets the ball as soon as we push forward. Partey's in that midfield. Do you know what I mean? And he looks so good on the ball at the moment, and we're missing him in that position. I
don't think Odegaard's fully fit.
I said that.
So he does. He also does a lot of work. He gets crazy. He goes through a lot of work during the game, and he's at like number 8, and he helps out. You know, sort of chasing back, getting stuck in. I haven't seen him do that since he came back from the injury. When he gets the ball in the final third, brilliant, wonderful. He's starting to do his stuff again. But he's worked great in the middle of the park, helping Rice, helping Mourinho, and especially helping out when Partey's not there and he's playing right. It's not there. So I think that's another reason why our pick teams are just playing for us too easily at the moment.
I was going to say that I think the injury that he had has had a bigger impact than people want to say. I think that whether it's his ankle injury and it's still had a bit of an effect to him, or whether it was the case that he was out for so long, came in and his fitness levels aren't the same. He was out for 2 months, was he?
Is it a struggle? Is it a struggle to get back into the mindset when you're already struggling? Is the wrong word. You're second, you know what I mean? But you can see Liverpool pushing away, and now you're chasing. You know what I mean? And he's been out for 2 months. The fitness isn't there. One bad game, it all starts getting on top of you a little bit.
It does seem like it's like one thing after the other at the minute. I mean, I don't want to start getting some.
Just people.
Yeah, it's like 1 minute at the beginning of the season. It was Mourinho, and then it was Odegaard, and then it was Saka, and then it was White, and then there's all little sort of finicky injuries in between. It's like we've not been able to get, a solid team in place where we can get proper players that have come back from injury. They're taking time to get back to fitness, and someone else to get a little too weaker. It's it's been that type of season, Garth, and it's like, this weekend, now Saliba's out for the next 3 games. You're like, you know what? It's been one of them seasons where you just can't. You want to get going, you see something like that's, and then something can happen, and you're like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
this is the problem. Apart from Man City, you can't have 2 teams. Man City, the only team that can have 22 first-team players in their squad without everyone getting annoyed. You know what I mean? You can have good players in backup. But if they're not like we've already discussed, there's no backup to Odegaard really for you in that team, really, is there? You know what I mean? There's no backup to a Saka in that team because Sterling's obviously. But again, I do feel for Sterling.
Jesus Christ!
I feel for him because he's not been played at all, mate. You know what I mean? And then he's expected to come in.
But when he came
on, he was. I was like, get it. I'm like, if anybody's like, get behind Arsenal players, when they're down, I'm like, I'm someone who does.
He's a Chelsea player.
Sterling started to get to me a little bit.
This was like this. Sterling coming the other day because I like Sterling. Yeah, I really.
Yeah,
I think there's something. He's got something to offer. Yeah, but the other day it was almost like we raffled an opportunity to play someone to come on and play. and then it was rabbit in headlights, and he went to kick the ball and then sort of missed it and then fell over the wrong way. And I was like, oh God, is this a guy who's trying too hard to prove that he's got something, that he can still do it? Because when he came on the other day against Villa, he was more of a hindrance than help.
Yeah, he was, wasn't he?
It was so bad.
He was
another question. You boys ain't mentioned it yet. Definite handball from Havertz. I've seen the replay handball for myself, but
look, at first I couldn't see it because when the angles that they were showing looked like it came off his stomach and bounced. And
from the angle that they showed us on the telly, it looked like his stomach. But
but then when you see it later on, because even Ollie Watkins said, I don't know, mate. Like if I was an Arsenal player, I'd be fuming. And then they showed him the other angle, and he went, "Oh, actually, maybe not." So do you know what I mean?
Fair enough.
So it's completely understandable that people are like, what are you talking about? Like, it looks like it comes off his stomach. And then you see the other angle, like, oh, maybe it looks like it comes off his arm. So look, it's over, it's done. We just shouldn't have conceded those 2 goals. It's as simple as.
Yeah.
And one thing I will say about striker, the players that were in front of the goal should have finished off those chances. Moreno, Trossard, Erdegaard needs to get his shooting boots on.
He does. He's been awful. He's shooting recently. Terrible.
What's he got? 3 goals this season. One of them was a penalty. We're talking about a player 2 seasons ago which racked up 23 or 24 goal contributions, and most of them were for goals. Like he's got goals in him, but this season it's been bad. It's been bad. Look.
Well, just one thing I will say
too much. We've been a bit all over the place through whatever it is, injuries, and then the timing of the form's been poor. But we should be doing better than what we are. We should be able to grind out games. We've been here before. The experience that we've had over the last 2 years of being in positions like that, we've ground out games and we're worst players on the pitch probably. So there's no reason why we shouldn't be able to hold out for games. It's just lacks of concentration and just because all it takes is for a party just to be a bit more aware and be like, okay, for Moreno to be a bit more aware and look over his shoulder here. It's those little things there, but it's like you're just in your motion. Oh no, and you're not getting away with it. You're not getting away with it with a team like Villa. They're going to punish you. So
just my thoughts on the penalty. I mean, I ain't got no complaints about it. Do you know what I mean? If the rules states that it hits your hand, and I haven't seen the other angle, but most people are saying from the other angle, you can clearly see it's his hand. So that's fine. That's fair enough. You know, that's what the rules say. You know, it should be disallowed. So even though I couldn't believe it, like I was like, oh, this is like a Saka moment, like against Fulham. Like I'm saying, everything's going against us at the minute.
I bet it really endeared you to VAR, Steve. I don't actually love it, mate.
You know, I feel like that. But what I will say, where I think like the rules are like a little bit, you know, skewed. Do you know what I mean? If that's up the other end, and a defender's got his hands in the exact same position as Havertz, and if someone has a shot and it hits him in the same place, that's not given as a penalty, is it?
Yeah, and sometimes, isn't it?
That's the thing.
If it's going in,
depends how far away, isn't it?
It really depends.
What's the rule? What is the rule? Because I mean, if it's his hand,
I don't know what you mean.
But I'm saying is when it's up the other end and you see, you know, defenders put their hands by their side,
accidental. And
it hits their hand, and they think, what could he do? It's hit his hand, but he's got his hands by his side.
What they're going to say,
his hands were by his side.
Yeah, what they're going to say is it's going to give an advantage to the goal.
Well, if that's what it is, that's what it is. But I was just like, you know, well, he's got his hands by the side. The defender's got his hands by his side. You know, the rules differ. Fair enough, but I don't think they should then. If that's like. But I know what you say, it led to a goal and all that. But anyway, I'm just like.
I know what you mean. I do know what you mean. But I think honestly, it would depend on the referee, like Kieran saying, how far away the shot is. Because I can see that I've seen penalties given for that. I have seen penalties. Like his arm was like that, wasn't it? It's
and Havertz couldn't get out of the way, could he? It's not like he could get out of the way. It's not like he was trying to force it in.
But I know what you mean. I still don't think you can give a goal if it's blatantly
I don't. Because that's the rules.
It's because it's deflected so much away from the goalkeeper in terms of if it's diverted so much that to give that it's going to be up.
So we're just playing Havertz. It cost you again. That's what we're going to say. Yeah, it's all Havertz's fault. Listen, I can't sing the song because Turkish has told me I'm not allowed. I'm not allowed to sing Waka Waka. It's not allowed. It's not allowed. You know,
don't sing that song again.
Don't sing that song again. This is the bloke who this is the bloke who wanted Wenger out, Arteta out, Xhaka was shit, and before Havertz come, Right,
Hey,
so let me tell you, Turkish mode, fuck all, mate.
It's consistent with awful takes, you know what I mean?
He wanted Timo Werner.
Don't listen to Turkish, for fuck's sake. God, blimey. I don't think he's ever been right.
Werner.
What?
Yeah.
He wanted Timo
Yeah,
today. Oh, God, yeah, don't mention that no more.
Don't worry, I pulled up that video the other day. Yeah.
So, as an outside observer, and again, like, not saying it, still a chance for you to win the league? You're still in it?
Yeah, definitely.
We're still in it, but Arsenal just aren't playing the game.
That's what I mean.
Problem.
Isn't it? If Man City were in our position, they'd be saying like, "Whoa, here comes City."
Yeah,
so we've got to give them the same, in it.
If Arsenal were in the form that they were last season,
I'll be like,
this is on.
This
is on.
Mm-hmm.
Them points, you're gonna need it.
But now Liverpool a little bit. Liverpool are wobbling a little bit.
They are, a little
bit.
Not a lot.
Doing what they did last season, and they are dragging their ass over the line. They've had kneecap shot out, and they are crawling over the line. And the line's there, and they're still doing it slowly. But Arsenal are like just dithering, just like not involved. Just like, what are you doing?
All I will say to Liverpool fans out there, mate. All I will say to Liverpool fans is, I'm not one for, you know me. I'm not one for calling teams bottle jobs or anything like that. I detest it. I don't like it. I think you should have more respect for professional footballers through a 38-league season.
There's a big butt coming in, isn't there, Steve? There's a big butt coming.
But if you lose this league now. If you lose this league from here now, right, against Arsenal or City, right, with the amount of problems that both of them have been having throughout this season regarding to injury to massive key players, and not Harvey Elliott and Curtis Jones, like you keep throwing in their faces, that will be the biggest bottle job in the history of football.
Yeah, I can.
No one apart from Arsenal gets called bottle job, Steve. You know this by now, mate.
I just about the bottle job. I'll take the bottle job back, but I'm telling you, if you lose it from here, oh my word.
Just on injuries, look, there's no more shameless team out there than Tottenham. Because Arsenal didn't even mention
Let's talk.
Arsenal didn't even mention injuries when they played Tottenham. We got told we don't want to hear the excuses. We didn't even mention it, but you knew that big players were out. So you took that as an opportunity to tell us before we could even say anything we don't want to hear excuses about any of your players out. What are you going to do on the weekend? And we beat you, yeah? But the amount of times I've heard that Mikey Moore is injured, William Oblak, or whatever his name is. Like,
are these players? Are you making up? Are these regens on Champ or something?
Benson Hedges, and Tommy Smith. Like, who are these players that you keep telling us are injured? Has anyone in the league lost a centre back? Has anyone in the league lost? Yes, they have. Everyone has lost players.
Mate, but the thing is, when they don't understand, they were shit with them.
Everyone.
They were shit with Romero and Van de Ven.
Town took you to extra time. Embarrassing. Embarrassing.
Let me ask you boys this. On Spurs, is Big Ange, how long has he got, do you reckon?
It's gone. Yeah, I think, well, I've heard today that, what owners always come out and say before they sack the manager, when they come out and support them publicly, you're on your way. That's the danger. When there's a statement, they're still supporting you. For now, they forget to put in the for now bit. But no, I mean, whoever got him as Tottenham manager, whoever sort of signed him off and thought, hold on a minute, I'll tell you what, he's done the business in Scotland, and he's done the business in Australia League. He's won that league. Let's get him to buy. Let's get him into Tottenham Hotspur and turn us around. Whoever done that,
personality hire, man. His personality's got him that job because he's got a bit of old school about him, ain't he? You know what I mean? Like gruff, like You could easily see Big Ange in the 90s as a gaffer with his mentality, you know what I mean? And I, in all fairness, he'd probably do better having complete control of being one of them managers, you know what I mean? But yeah, he ain't done Spurs. I thought we looked bad, but Spurs, I mean, I don't know what's going on there at the moment with them because they've got a good squad as well. It's not like they've got.
When you go
James Maddison, what's happened to James
Chelsea,
Maddison?
and you keep on going forward. You have a high line that's essentially sitting in their half, and you say it's just we are, mate. It's we are as long as I'll be here, mate. Like that, I'm sorry. And when people are, it's such a breath of fresh air. Oh, it's so nice. Shut up. Honestly, he was a media darling for about 15 minutes. And as soon as that mask came off, he got gobbled up. Gobbled up. All right. This was meant to be.
I liked him when he first come, and and I said, he like Garth just said, breath of fresh air. But then he come out and he had a little pop at Arteta, and he said,
I didn't like that.
From then on, I'm like, I know I'm marked your cards. I've got other sort of numbers. You've got your number, pal. Got your number.
That one stunk. That one stunk because he was like, I don't know what
kiss my ass.
I don't know what I do. I don't know. Well, the referee's a referee. Where I come from, you respect the referee. What did he do the other week? He wanted to rip the referee's head off.
So he is, mate. So he is.
This is me, mate. It's like, you can't do that. Eddie Howe did the same thing. Like when the manager comes out and says something, just keep yourself to yourself. Don't be that guy who's going to be like, I wouldn't do that. I can't believe he said that. Like, don't be that guy. It's embarrassing because it's going to come back on you and you're going to look like an idiot.
Yeah.
All right, let's get
on. Just quickly. Sorry, the Newcastle. I watched the Newcastle Bournemouth game.
Good game, wasn't it? Good game, wasn't
it? Did you watch it as well, Steve? Yeah, it's a good game, mate. Bournemouth, outstanding from Bournemouth. Newcastle, mate. Wow.
Well, we've got some players that are going to get snapped up. I said to you before, I like the look of...
including the manager, mate. The manager as well. He's going to get snapped up.
Yeah, he's a player. Kluivert's a player who I like to look at when he was at Ajax. Went to Roma. I weren't really sure. Came to England. I thought, let's have a look. Since he's come in, I really like the look of him. Semedo.
Mourinho, when we played Ajax in the Europa League final, Mourinho, there's a video of it. Him literally, it's 9 o'clock, people. Mourinho literally, as in shoulder around, arm around shoulder, like, I think we can work together. Like, might see you at Man United next year. And I got hyped then, and I was like, because I liked him then as well. I know he didn't do well in Italy, but smashing up for Bournemouth. Semenyo, wow, you know what I mean?
Semenyo,
like, fair play.
He was English. Didn't even know he was English.
Yeah,
well, he's Ghanaian now, but he's English.
We claim them. We claim that 100%. As soon as they do well, it's like Andy Murray. The moment he's doing bad, that geezer's Scottish.
Yeah. Ghanaian international Semedo, average player. Goal scorer in the Prem. Do you know what? Semedo, English. Down the road. Yeah.
But I just wanted to shout out Bournemouth because they really done well against Newcastle. It was a great game to watch. It really is.
Forest again, good result for Forest. Chris Woods again, scoring.
Yeah.
They just
was it 3-0? Was it in the end?
3-0, 3-2 in the end. 3-2 in the end.
3-2.
Was it 3-2? I must have. I didn't look at it.
It says to me that Newcastle can be got at home. People called it the fortress. But whether Arsenal will turn up and do the business.
I said it straight away. 3 points against Newcastle at St James is not unheard of. And Man City, listen, look, it's Man City, so I'm not going to this. But it was Ipswich people. They're not back. It was one very good game against a very poor Ipswich team. Let's calm it down. Let's see where they are in 3 or 4 games. They may be on the road to recovery.
Maybe,
but this one game against Ipswich, it's not.
The thing is, when you got Ireland, if you've got Foden and Ireland getting back to their best, and then you've got Man City always going to have a chance. But it doesn't take away from the problems that they got. And
no. Go from their recent form: 2-0 against Leicester, 4-1 against fair. 8 against Salford don't count, but it's still 8 away. 2 against Brentford.
Confidence, isn't it?
Very good form, which is why I thought that Liverpool might be held out against Brentford. 6-0 against Ipswich. So their recent form's very good. They're answering a few critics at the moment.
But I've seen a lot of people saying they're back, and I'm like, man.
Yeah, I think when we criticise it, when we're sort of like criticising Man City, I think people got to realise like the standard that they were, and what we see now. People like, oh, what are you having a go at City for? They've done this, they've done that. We know what they've done. Do you know what I mean?
That's why people dig out Haaland, isn't it? He's on 17 goals or whatever it is this season. But like, he's having a bad year. He's having a bad year because he scored 400 goals last year, mate.
Prime example. There we go.
He's still having a banging season. So anyway, sorry. I don't know. Yeah, transfers, I believe. Let's see. Man United aren't signing no one.
Yeah. Well. Man United linked with Lecce. Is he winger Patrick Dorgu? Do you know much about him, Garth?
Only literally looked into the day because Steve, was it you sent it through in the group? Steve?
Yeah.
Had a little look. So, from what I read about him, he's actually a fullback who converted to wing, and now he's playing at wing back. So, listen, versatile, reasonably young. I think what was it? I saw he weren't over 25 or whatever he was, but still he's got 20. Yeah, so he's got years on him.
2004.
Well, I don't care. It makes you want to cry, don't it? Listen, it's like I was saying. I think, like I said to Steve when he was saying about it, I think this is a deal more about the right price because we're talking like 23 mil apparently for him. They're saying 40 now out of nowhere. But when I was looking into it, it was around 23 with add-ons.
Yeah,
I don't know a lot about him. I don't know how he'd survive in the Premier League. I don't. Yeah. So apart from he's an attacking defender, which is always an oxymoron. That is the truth. It looks like it could be a reasonable signing for Man United. Yeah. But when we get it done, how we get it done, I don't know. Have you got any more information on that, Steve? Like, are we talking January for him? Or are we talking?
Yeah. I mean, there's talks happening. So obviously, and from what can make out, he wants to sign. He'd sign on the dotted line now. So from that, you would think that things would probably go through pretty quickly. So, but yeah, I mean, Garth, I don't know much about him either. As I say, if he's coming in as a wing back, at 20, someone that we've not heard of, you tend to think that maybe he's someone for the future. Whether he's someone they're going to sign or make a deal with and then send him back to Lecce and then pay for him in the summer or something like that. I mean, that would all come to pass as time goes on. But I still think that Man United would still need somebody else in that position, unless Amorim knows something about this guy that we don't.
Luke Shaw's back apparently as well. Luke Shaw, so we've got him for 3 games before he breaks down again. So you know, what I mean, we use Luke Shaw sparingly. You know, what I mean, just like once every 4 games. Then, but yeah, it's. I agree with you. I think we'd need more than that, Steve. I 100% agree with you, mate. It's.
Yeah. I mean, so I don't know enough about him to say like, oh yeah, this guy's like. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
highlight packages can only give you so much, can't they? So I had a look at a couple of highlight packages, and obviously he looks immense in the highlight packages. Sign up immediately. Sign up immediately. He's the best. Honestly, he's better than Maldini. He's the best left back I've ever seen.
It's always the way. Always the way.
There's a Danish international. He's played 4 caps for Denmark, so something about him.
And Garnacho. Looking like could be a player that's picking up a little bit of interest from clubs. Napoli, one of them, Steve.
Yeah, look, I mean, on this one, it's you can see why United would want to sell him. He'd obviously, one of their top assets, considering like I think they bought him from, was it Athletic Youths, was it in Argentina?
I believe it was Athletic, yeah.
Yeah, and so they literally everything they're going to get is much more or less might as well pure profit.
Yes.
So, but look, there's a lot of noise going about Garnacho, isn't there, at the moment? So for me, there's definitely something in it. I definitely feel that he could go in the January window, and probably, if Amorim feels that Garnacho isn't the guy, it does make sense to sell him, because obviously he will generate a lot of cash for Amorim to spend, albeit January or to add to the summer kitty. More than likely the summer kitty, because do you know what I mean? More probably the players that he wants will be more likely available in the summer than January. But look, it's an interesting one. When it came out of the blue, I was like, what, Garnacho? You know, because this is the player that a lot of Man United fans are like, he was one of them that they would keep. He was put into that bracket. There's a lot of noise around Garnacho leaving at the moment. So, I think Amorim come out and said, we don't want to sell him. Well, not wanting to sell him and selling him are totally two different things. So, but it'd be interesting to see what Garth's got to say. But look, Napoli are interested. They want him to replace Kvaratskhelia, who's now gone off to PSG. That was another shock one, that I didn't expect to happen because they've got Bradley Bacola who plays in the same position. So that's going to be interesting to see how they play that from now on. You got two who I wouldn't mind having for Arsenal, both of them. So having them at the same club in the same position is going to be interesting. But keep an eye out for Garnacho. It could be the big one that happens in the January window if you see him as a big player. I know some Man United players don't and would prefer him to go.
Garth, what's your thoughts on Garnacho leaving? I know a lot of hype is around the Garnacho, and I know you're one of the people that say he's a good player, but I don't think he's as good as what people are trying to build him up to be. Do you think it's worth cashing in on what could be a decent amount of money?
Immediately. If I'm hearing like 65, 70 mil, I'm like, even 50 mil, like, get him, like, you know what I thought about Garnacho for a long time. If you watch this show for a while, you know what I think about him as well. I've never thought he was that good. His decision making is awful. Listen, he's got a touch of magic in him, so he can score great goals here and there, but his general play isn't good enough. I think 21 now, is he? 20? How old is he now? So 20. So 21, and he's had enough time. We need that money. We don't play wingers anymore. There's no place for him in this side. Yeah. And I've never thought he was as good as a lot of Man United fans bigged him up to be. Like, never even close to that. He's a solid player, but his decision-making is so weak. So weak. And his basic plays. So the only thing I'll say that he does bring that we've got lacking of is speed. We don't have a lot of that in our team. So, but listen, 50, 60, 70 mil. Like, 70 mil is going to be a little... I saw that in one report, so I'm going a little too high on it. But like if someone offered 65, 70 mil for it, I'd just rip their arms off taking them immediately. But even 50 mil with some add-ons and a percentage, I'd be very happy with that. Very, very happy with that deal, to be quite honest with you. Steve's just said correctly, going, like, it opens up, that even if it's 50 mil, it opens up that door to coming in January. It opens up, so he's now got a left back coming in, and maybe you save the other 25 mil for the summer. So I'd sell him. I'd sell him long before I sold Rashford personally.
He was linked with Chelsea as well. Funnily enough, not surprisingly.
I don't get that. I don't get that.
No one gets it. It gives me a headache.
He's playing champ in real life. He can't help himself. Old Todd Bowley, can he? He sees, I've got to buy another player. He's getting itchy, mate. He ain't signed enough people this January.
I mean, taking away like the fact that look, Chelsea have. We talk about it a lot during the day, and Chelsea have, for some reason, their books are straight and they're fine at the moment. But why would you go for Garnacho when you've got so many?
Them, generally,
you got Mudryk who plays on the left that position. You got Neto who they've bought plays on that place in that position. And they bought him in the summer, and now they're looking at Garnacho. I don't know what they're doing. But
they're just buying players that don't fit their team, Steve. This is what I know you like Neto, but if you remember when I said when they bought Neto, I'm like, he just ain't a player that Chelsea. They ain't going to work for Chelsea Neto. And they've got Sancho on loan. They've got to buy Sancho in the summer as well. Don't forget, that's an obligation.
You know what I noticed? Because you said about Neto. Sorry, you said about Neto, and you said about his output, and I never took that into account. Awful. Oh my God! And when you watch, you can see he's all noise, but nothing in the end. Got a noise around there. Like, you see a good touch, you see a good trick, you see a good movement, you see a good pace. But is it at the business end? No, it's not. It's not.
Maybe it was because he's some of these times. I mean, and I may be guilty of this. We all may be guilty of this because there's many of us who thought Neto was. We wanted Neto to come to Man City. We're looking at him, and Liverpool were looking at him, and Arsenal were looking at him, and we all thought, wow, this is someone someone a bit special. And when we see him play for Wolves, you know, we thought, wow, yeah, this kid. But playing for Wolves is different, isn't it? You know, you are going to stand out playing for Wolves a little bit more than you are. I mean, when he plays for Portugal, you can't really think of any mind-blowing moments, to be fair to you, Garth. I mean, when you said about you didn't rate now, I was like a bit, oh, you know, I was surprised at that.
Oh,
I do see it. But no, I do see it. I do see it. You know, when you analyse it.
The next one as well, Cunha. Cunha's the next one. People are so hyped about Cunha. You don't want Arsenal to sign Cunha. I promise you that. No, you do not want Cunha in your side. Like, he's very good at that level, man. I don't think he's the next step. Like, I don't think he takes you forward to Cunha. Because I know Man United fans want him as well. Like, I'm like, because that's a big money signing as well. You know what I mean? Like, what are they always going to want for him? 60?
Yeah.
Surely.
If I was Man United, I'd be like, trying to get 70 million out of Napoli for him in January.
100%. Yeah.
Not that he's worth 70 million, but I'll be thinking, look. But I'll be thinking.
You're talking about the Kirchwehr, him, and
easy to say.
Yeah. But they got the money, haven't they? We know Man United. I know you've got the money
from the summer, which will be
how much did he go to PSG?
I think it was around about the same, mate, wasn't it? It was around about that.
Yeah, fair enough.
70 something like that.
So,
but it's mad, isn't it? When you compare the two, Kevin Schuyler to Garnacho. I mean, for me, Kevin Schuyler is a quality, top class player.
Yeah, leagues above him.
Garnacho is not in Kevin Schuyler's class, but yet you're talking about the same money.
But again, if you watched highlights of Garnacho, you'd be like, "Oh my god!" You know, he's got them scissor kick goals. He's got the Pelés. He's got the speed where he's running past people. It's when you watch the 90 minutes of him, you're like, "Oof."
I've done one of them over the Hackney Marshes once,
I mean, I've played about the overhead kick up, but done outside the area. I ain't going nowhere for 70 mil, mate. I can go anywhere.
I can't. It was a spectacular overhead kick. Whether it was mint or not, it's a different matter entirely. You know what I mean? But
it was spectacular. My old school PE teacher. Was staying on the sidelines as well, and he picked me for the year above for scoring an overhead kick in PE as well. And the fact that he was there was written in the stars, mate.
But that's what happened when he was at school.
Mr. Bulldog.
That's what happened when he was at school, though, wasn't it? I was in the football team. Like, I was, not blowing my own trumpet. I've always been quite a good footballer. I was in the cricket team. I was in like the hockey team. I was in the cricket and the rugby team. I have no idea how I was in it. It was just because you're in the football team. Yeah, you're in the cricket and the rugby team then. I'm useless at the cricket and rugby.
They
didn't care. Just wax in there, just throw me in there. Yeah, you got some idea about balls.
Natural sportsman. Natural sportsman. That's what we like to say.
Although basketball, I was pretty decent. So I was in that one as well.
Won't take it off in England. Before we go, a few more bits of transfer news. I'm sure Arsenal fans will want to hear. See if there's any you can hear this now.
This won't take long.
Yeah. First one. Interesting, Victor Osimhen.
Yeah. I mean, again, it's always this is one that I've not been hearing anything about from the people I talk to. He's not been someone who Arsenal have like really sort of gone for in past windows. He's not been really linked. He's someone who's not. He's not the profile that Arsenal. He was talked about as having a bit of an attitude problem, similar to an Ivan Toney, and Arteta's really never gone for him. And he's not. I don't think he's. I don't know what you think here. And for me, he's not the type of striker Arsenal need. If Arsenal played Osimhen up front, Arsenal would have to change their game, sort of play differently for him, because he's not. I mean, he's not like a Sesko or an Havertz or someone like this.
I mean, he bagged quite a few goals and assists to win Napoli the league.
I was going to say, it's the output, Steve. I know what you're saying, but he's a banging. Although the team swears he's 4 years older than he says he is. The team's adamant of that in the group. Yeah. He's definitely 4 years older than he actually is.
I think it would have been a risk.
One.
I think it would be a risk.
They've kept an eye on him since he was come through. From Nigeria.
Is it a transfer or is it just a loan for the rest of the season? Is it like breaking Galatasaray?
It would be a loan.
I think it'd be a good deal, mate. I honestly think that wouldn't be too bad for you. Like, if you get a Stoshman, if you get a Stoshman, that's a banging player.
Yeah. If he was alone, sorry, mate, go on.
Look, Napoli have to sell. They've muddied the waters with him. This is clearly why Kvaratskhelia, sorry if I pronounced it wrong, which I clearly have, has left in this January transfer window, because that's crazy. And for 70 mil for a player who's regarded as one of the best wingers in the world this quickly, and you said it the other day, you've heard he will never play for Napoli again at that point there. Something's going on in that club, which is odd. Yeah. Victor Osimhen is leaving the club, and we heard in the summer that he will be leaving come the new year in the next transfer window for no more than £50 million. He's a £70 million striker on transfermarket.com.
Someone's getting a deal. Someone's getting a deal. Attitude,
I hear it. Nah, it's a rumour to me. I
think look, if Arsenal want him, if Arsenal say he'll come, so it's really whether Arteta wants can get the right deal for him, which personally I think is a 6-month loan with an option, But
not still obligation. You want that option to see how he does first. The wages will be steep. There's no two ways about that. That'll be steep wages.
Very steep.
Come and prove yourself. If Arsenal can't, it doesn't look like Arsenal can get probably their main guys, which is Goalkeepers or Sesko and or maybe possibly Isaac, if that's still a possibility. But
10 mil every game, that is extra 10 mil on him every game that he plays at the moment.
It don't go down when you have a stinker.
If he can score 15 goals, then thank you very much. In January to May, I'll take that.
Galatasaray, he's doing well over there at the moment. Just having a quick butcher's look. What's he on? 18 games, 14 goals.
18 games.
He's never been like someone that I've heard Arsenal really looking deeply into.
I've never seen any strong.
If your main options aren't available, you've got to start looking elsewhere. Listen, someone's getting. Bottom line, someone is getting an absolute bargain at the end of the season.
Yeah, I worry it will be a Chelsea because they're the club that sort of club.
Yeah, 100%.
He's all of a sudden like you got Chelsea fans are like getting all excited over. I told you about Action Jackson. Where's he? He's gone. He's turned.
Oh mate, the thing is, I feel sorry for Jackson because Chelsea would go out and buy Osimhen, and Jackson would just sit on the bench and then eventually be sold. But he's a good player. Like he's proven a lot of people wrong. He's having a good season this year. I like the look of him. I like the look of Jackson. He gets in dangerous places. Like
I'll take him. I'll take him.
Man United. Yeah,
it's not a bad finisher.
It's not a bad.
Chelsea is a team that pick teams like Man United, like Nottingham Forest. Like they should be looking at what Keir said this the other day, and I agree with that. You should be looking at what they've got that's not playing at Chelsea at the moment because they've got some talent in there that is not getting played. And you don't get it cheap, but you're getting them undervalued, definitely. So definitely someone to look at.
Just an update on the Benjamin Sesko rumours that Arsenal have held some talks and personal terms have been agreed and all sorts coming.
No, it's just all. All wishful thinking, mate. There's nothing been, Arsenal are continuing to talk to Sesko, his agents, because, he's their number one target for the summer. Yeah. That's not going to change. He's the man that Arteta wants. And that's why it's so difficult at the moment, bringing someone in now. But, all the Arsenal fans out there, he's saying, this guy and put 67 million down because apparently that's what he's worth now. And go and get Sesko. But unfortunately, it's not going to happen. It's his agents come out and said it's not happening. So we have to take that as solid. So, yeah. Nothing on Sesko at the moment, mate, I'm afraid, from Arsenal.
I love this bit of the show. We just break Arsenal fans' hearts, Steve. Every week at the transfer pit. Like, so what about Arsenal? No.
I don't know what Arsenal fans want. I don't know what Arsenal fans. I've not had one sort of like. I mean, it's understandable that Arsenal fans that they're desperate for someone. Do you know what I mean? We need a forward. We need a forward. But look, they're not available. It's as simple as that. And you can't go and start blaming the Cronkies or Arteta if players ain't available. Have
you ever met a football fan, mate? Have you ever met a football fan, Steve? Because they may not, they may shouldn't be rational. They definitely will, mate. They definitely will be blaming the Cronkies, and then like you'll say, 1,000%.
Oh, they are. Yeah, but this is it. They do. They do.
The Cronkies is one thing. The Cronkies is one thing. Yeah, it's Arteta that I don't get. All he does is buy left backs, mate. What are you talking about? I've got 18-year-old centre midfielder playing at left back right now. Good thing he didn't bloody buy left backs. I might have been in more trouble.
Yeah, but I mean, since Arteta's come in, I think the Cronkies have I can't fault the Cronkies since Arteta's come in. I think he's backed him all the way.
Yeah.
They didn't back him like in January when he first come, because we was in a shit show. And when we was like, and we
Pablo Mari, Cedric, David Luiz on another year loan, where he held us by the balls because he knew we had no options. Said to you that there was no money in the team.
Exactly. But since then, they've backed Arteta all the way, and then so I can't. You look at Stan. I mean, I've got quite a lot of respect for Josh Kroenke. I like him. I think he knows about football. I mean, some American owners haven't got the Scooby, but Josh Kroenke talks a good. You listen to him, and he talks a lot of sense. He's very close to Arteta. He works well with him, and I don't see what more you can do, and especially in this day and age, as I said, like I talk to the blue in my face. We're not in the world of. This is the budget I'm going to give so and so this year to go and spend. It's if you say I've got £200 million here that I'm going to put that. I might do this. The Premier League say no, you're not. But I've tried to explain it. But
they need to let the purse strings loose a little bit. Not to play at teams like Newcastle though, because that just gets silly.
No.
Get out of hand. That'll turn into Chelsea. Chelsea 2000 again. We don't need that.
But Newcastle are the perfect sort of guide by about how teams can't spend. They're the richest.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Don't allow Newcastle to have free spending because they are the richest club in the world.
Yeah, and to be fair, like if you did, if you allowed teams to go and just spend what they want, then we'll get into a situation where, do you know what I mean? The league, one thing good about the Premier League now, I feel, is that the teams like in the middle of the table that once, like from going back 5-10 years ago, are so much better because they're able to get top players, because it's stopping teams like Arsenal, Man United, Chelsea, being able to spend, and they can pick them up. Do you know what I mean? Because they've got a few bob, because they haven't spent in the past, so it levels itself out.
Yeah, and they just charge us 16
100 million when it goes.
2 seasons later. We love that. We love
at the end of the day, can you blame teams like West Ham and Brighton and Fulham if they get a staff of saying 100 million, mate?
Well, Brighton, I can.
We're specifically I can with my team, Steve. I
definitely paid 2.5 million. It's greed, mate. It's greed. Like, come on.
Can I just Steve, a ridiculous one. I saw it in the Independent though. Is that Man United are now looking at Gorkheads, which I don't see how that's possible considering his value. But I'm sure
it's funny enough, he was talking about Gorkhe's in like the work chat today, and and we were saying like that right now, Gorkhe's is not going to sign for Manchester United. Do you know what I mean? Manchester United in their normal pomp, he would, but at 26, Gorkhe's will want to go to a club who's playing in European football and are on the up. At the moment, they're just Man United.
Man United right now.
Man United are not there yet. So
if I was Mullins at Wrexham, I wouldn't come to Man United right now because you ain't doing nothing. It's just I was one out of the left field. I know Amorim's at United now, but I don't know anything about it. independent. And they made quite a big deal about it. I was like, that's a load of nonsense. There's no way Man United dropping 86 mil.
I mean, again, mate, as I said, like I say this to many people, like you just nothing surprises me on transfers. You know, they're all human beings. They're all human beings like us. 1 minute they can say, I don't want to go and play for Man United. I'm looking like I want to play European football. And the next minute they might be sitting there with their feet up, watching the TV and think, hold on a minute, I fancy a bit. Yeah, they change their mind, phone their agent. Yeah, by the way, I said no. It changes like that all the time. I have a lot of, I talk to David Ornstein and quite a bit. It always tell you that.
I can imagine sitting on the sofa at a club, manager's annoyed you. Club came in for you 6 months ago. You said no. You're not happy at the club anymore. You're like, you know what? I feel like I could fit in this club. Have a word with the club. Make the move happen.
The article, I don't know if you've seen the article. Sorry, mate, an article tonight. Do you know that I did? I'm here in Newcastle. Newcastle, I've had talks with the agent of Goalkeeper. So
surely that means Isaac's going in, doesn't it? Surely that means that they know that Isaac's on his way.
Yeah. And I'm also
trying to give hope. Trying to give him hope.
It's not. I don't think it's going to be Arsenal. I don't think it's going to be Arsenal, mate. I've got a funny feeling it's going to be Liverpool, from what I'm hearing.
Oh, we don't want that. We don't want that.
Which again, it's sort of like they've when you look at it, Nunes scored a couple of goals.
It was the striker they bought from Newcastle.
Yeah.
Well, how are they going to offload Nunes though?
Well, I don't know. I think is he the guy after Salah? I don't think so.
No.
So he's right. He scored 2 goals, but do you know what I mean? Eddie Nketiah has come on and scored 2 goals for Arsenal when we've been up the top before. So I'm not saying he's Nunes, but Nunes certainly for me isn't the guy after Salah to lead Liverpool to lead titles or whatever. So when you look into it, you think about it, Alexander Isak, going in to sort of eventually sort of be that Salah replacement to score the goals that they will need to win trophies. And Georgie's going to Newcastle, guaranteed game time, walk straight in.
It makes sense.
He'll be playing in Europe. Isak goes, Georgie's comes in. Ain't got to worry about Arsenal possibly being in and out or playing every now and then. Who knows, mate? Who knows? But it's certainly seeming like an option for both those players on going to either one of those clubs.
No, definitely. Another player who's been linked to Arsenal, obviously Zubimendi, the deal that was they were speaking about last week at advanced talks. Has everything been sorted, Steve? I'm sure they'll be Arsenal worrying about that deal getting over the line.
Yeah. No, I mean, it looks like everything's going. From what I'm hearing, latest I've been hearing is that the personal terms being agreed, wages, contracts. I've been told it's going to be a 4-year contract, and it's just that they have to just sort out, Zubimendi's sort of, because he's a Basque boy, isn't he? Do you know what I mean? He's an only child. He's very close to his parents. So I think that's one of the reasons why he's played for Sociedad so long. I think that's one of the reasons why he turned down Liverpool.
Next to the mountains of San Sebastian.
Yeah, but again, too much noise around it. Big transfer journalists, coming out and saying that talks are advanced. So I can't see him doing the Liverpool again in the summer and turning Arsenal down at last minute. Release clause isn't a problem because it's a small release clause, and his wages, he's on £35,000 a week at Sociedad. So
just keep him on that. Double his wages.
Double it. It could be nice, bro. 60 with bonuses, lads. So you know what I mean? 60 with bonuses.
That's right. But look, this it's looking good. A lot of people saying, well, why do Arsenal need Zubimendi? But if Jorginho and Partey do leave, we're not going to need just one. We're probably going to need 2 midfield. I know we're talking about Skelly, possibly. We don't know, but I'm hearing they're looking for 2. So and one's going to be like an up and coming young one. So But Super Mini Man, yeah, I'm pretty certain that's done. That one's going to be done.
Well, the other player that Arsenal have been recently linked with Birham Diaz, but the central midfielder could be Sver Napan, if I said that correctly.
The Norwegian. Yeah.
The Norwegian youngster from Rosenborg, who's having an exceptional season this season, where he's bagged 18 goal contributions in 33 games, with 8 goals and 7 assists in 28 in the league. And 3 goals or 3 assists in the Europa League qualifiers.
One for the future, one that's been scouted a lot. And again, another young player that Arsenal seem to be building for the future. What is he? Is he Norwegian? Norwegian?
Yeah, Norwegian.
Norwegian. 18.
They're calling him the next Odegaard, ain't they? I wouldn't
be surprised if Odegaard's given Arteta and saying, "You seen this kid?"
Of course.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Look at you. Go and have a look at him.
Fuming if you sign Naipan. Like fuming, lads. I'm just letting you know now.
Yeah, but it's going to be interesting. Arsenal in January. I mean, who we're going to get? As I say, I'm still not hearing anything sort of like major that's going to happen. The likely one seems Vlahovic leaving. Do you know what I mean? Because he's like, I know Juventus want to say, I've spoken to Carlo. He's saying, he'll go, he'll leave. They just, he's big asset. They need the money.
And who are the takers, though?
Yeah, but Carlo calls him the what did he call him now? Dusan Karovic.
Why is he a bit of a window?
He said he's the suburban Andy Carroll, which I thought, cheers for that, mate.
Haven't I heard the Man City about something? Well, not about something. They're exploring Douglas Luiz as well. Juventus are obviously in a bit of trouble, ain't they?
They're in big trouble, mate. Yeah.
Are they all in big trouble? Right, fair play. I didn't realise that.
Mate. Yeah. I speak to Carlo most days, and he's saying we need to sell, and Vlahovic's he's not in the team at the minute. I mean, they say he's got an injury, but obviously, when he gets to January and you get injuries, and especially to someone like Vlahovic. Yeah. I think he's going to be another big player that could go to the club. I mean, Man United, alone for Man United, Vlahovic. Whoa. I mean, that, for me, you've got to be looking at that, surely. And I think Arsenal are the same. The Arsenal Man United should be looking at Vlahovic as at least an option to buy at the end of the season. Do you know what I mean? Something like that. Because on his day, look, he ain't been playing well recently, but he knows where the net is. And he's a big, strong centre forward. So he's only 24.
Steve, at this stage with me, I'd take Steve Ball out of retirement at his age right now and stick him up front. So,
All right. That is all we have time for. Thank you for everyone who's joined us tonight. Thank you for everyone who's watching on Twitter. Make sure you press that like button and press that retweet. It massively helps. And anyone that's watching on YouTube, press that like and press that subscribe if you are new to the show. If you are a regular, press that like button and press that share button. It all helps to push us to the top table. And as Garth said, and I'm going to say it every week now, go and follow me on the Transfer Exchange Show on TikTok. Kieran AFTV. Oh, whoa.
What?
AFC.
God damn, mate.
I believe that's called a Freudian slip. That is, you know what I mean? Like, kids about to leave us. Just don't tell us, kids.
So many of my videos recently,
mate, the subscribers are dropping by the second here, mate.
No, do you know what it is, yeah? Because so many of my videos recently has been on that mob.
Yeah, they're on his mind. Listen, don't help people that I send him about 7 videos every time Arsenal don't win of AFC.
Yeah, and people go, why'd you watch him? I was like, I don't. I just get sent the videos. And that little 30-second snippet has wound me up so much that I've done an 8-minute video on it.
I've got to cut it down. I've got to cut it down for engagement. How do I get this 8-minute rant to 2.5 minutes? I can't. Yeah. I've just put it up.
That Goldbridge one, did you like that Goldbridge one I sent you?
What was that?
He's quite funny, actually, I must admit. He's
God, won't be hearing none of this. God, won't be hearing none of this.
We ain't got time for this, Steve. But yeah, you saying that is like me saying that Troops is funny, mate. Just remember that. I've had this with Keir the other day.
I say I don't watch him. I don't watch him regularly, but I just like I think. Do you know why I think he's funny? Is because like when
Caesar.
When there's meltdowns, doesn't he? When Man United lose and stuff
it's
like
so
that.
fake though, mate. We ain't got time. I'm like, look, there's a guy around, Steve. I can't. I can't, sir.
Yeah, I've got dinner, and the missus made me paella tonight. So clearly,
nice. We got quickly before we go. What's in it, kid? Is it just got some squid in there or some chicken?
Got chicken. Nice. Got prawns. Don't know about squid.
Yeah,
she doesn't even touch prawns, so I can't get her to add squid and stuff. That's not going to happen. No, pie. This ain't no authentic Spanish one. This is just an English one. All right.
Still delicious.
That's all we have time for. Make sure you follow the show. Just keep it simple in future, and I won't ever mention AFTV again. Hit that like and subscribe. Thank you for joining us, Steve and Garth.
Cheers, mate.
Pleasure, mate.
All right. Peace out, people. Stay safe. Hit the right one and wash your hands.